Yeah, this a hard part of me introducing myself. Uh, but yeah, I'm a Saint Yvon. I'm a soon to be six-time published author, which is kind of crazy to say. Um, I write in I write in multiple genres, thriller and self-help. So I'm growing every day as a writer, trying to perfect my craft and just be one of the greatest human beings that I can be on this earth. Real mild intro, but that's my personality.
For sure. That's more than enough. So I mean, how does one like differentiate their self when it comes to writing? Like, 'cause there's people who like write, I might write an essay, I might write a paper, I might, write a check, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
like for someone to be like, I am a writer and writing is what I do, how'd you get into that?
Oh, that's a great question. As when you become an adult, and I'm sure you can relate to this, like nothing is by accident, right? Like
Hmm.
you can probably look back like in retrospect and look is see where you are now and see like some of the things that was kind of like prepping you to get to that point. So for me, when I was a child, I love like the art of storytelling. I love movies. I just love words. Like I fell in love with words, whether it was poetry, things like that. But at the time, obviously it wasn't something that was pushed as like a career at that particular time. But I just love to create like any type of stories and things like that. And even with, like when my mom would, make us read before we could go outside and play, like I would always gravitate towards certain stories that, I felt like I resonated with. And so from there, like, probably back in I want to say maybe 2016, 2017, trying to figure out what path I wanted to go on, like trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life. And, just that storytelling aspect kind of stuck with me. And so that's kind of what sparked the idea. And then from there, like, I ended up writing a play and that transition into what it is to today. So
Okay, for sure. So like what was like the first you said 2016. So like what stuck out enough to be like, hey, I gotta write this down. I feel like this got something.
yeah, so I was at the time I was working with a youth group at the time, and I was trying to do something different with them, just kind of getting them to like expand on their creativity without even having a thought process of being a true writer. And I was like, we're gonna do this play.
Hmm.
And I don't know where this again, just kind of being in tune and being in line with where, God, the path that God puts you on. It was just there. So I was like, we're gonna do this play. So I wrote this play for these kids for us to perform and stuff like that. And it got so much like recognition. Like we didn't even have a stage or anything. It was like in a small church that maybe was about like maybe could fit over like 100 people. And
Hmm.
so from there, like we had so many people show up, and I was like, man, maybe this is something that I could do long term. And then I started really like getting into like, writing and just like learning like the different like techniques and things like that. So that was the moment that kind of set it off for me, that gave me that green light to go. So
For sure. I feel like it's always somebody working in a youth group. You know what I'm saying? I worked with youth for the majority of my career. So definitely know how it feels to like, I just need something to do with these kids and let's just figure it out. And then you get like, oh, you know what? That's actually that's not a bad idea. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's funny how we get like affirmations like through that. Like you see people like responding well, and you're like, you know what? I'm gonna try to maybe expand this thing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So
yeah.
so like what is your writing process? You know what I'm saying? Like like you said, six-time published author, right? That's to me, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, I mean, you just got stuff going. You know what I'm saying? Like I write one thing and boom, like more stuff is happening. Like I think about my wife, she reads a lot, and some of her, like some of the authors she read, have like, 10 series of books, you know what I mean? So like so I'm always like, fascinated like how do writers keep things fresh, you know what I'm saying? So how do you keep things, like going and like starting ideas, finishing ideas, completing ideas, then doing it again? Like what's the process?
Oh man, I think this book, I mean, yeah, like like you said, it's the sixth one, but I think this one is really the one that helped me find like my process.
Hmm.
I'm still learning what that looks like, right? But like with the writing process for me before, and the only reason why I'm breaking it down this way because it's been so different for me. Because before this recent book, my writing process was I get an idea and I just go. Like I'll just get an idea, I'll just write it out. We're gonna execute it, we're gonna do it. There wasn't like any full like research into it. There wasn't any like, mapping out like I mean I would outline, but like really like defining characters, the character arc and things like that, like really tapping into that technique or like working with beta readers, like which are, people that'll read your manuscript and give you feedback before, the book is published and things like that. So the process was even down to like working with editors. So, it changed for me like the more that I got serious about it. I think this novel put me in a more serious path. Like, okay, this is my career. I need to take this seriously. So, like, for me, like my writing process now, has been I do a lot of reading
Hmm.
like beforehand. Like if there's an idea, like because I'm always getting ideas about something to write. I feel like everybody has a story. Like
Right.
that's what I feel like. You always gonna find something. So, when I get the idea, like I'll start doing like mild like research. Like maybe I'll watch a show or a movie and I'm jotting down things that I see, things that I like. I'm also doing a lot of journaling. Like before,
Mm.
this is prior to like actually like outlining the story or whatnot. So I'm doing a lot of reading, journaling, maybe doing exercises like word sprints and things like that, getting a topic and then, just putting it down on paper and writing and things like that. So that's kind of like what the start of the process is like. And writing is it's such a long process, right? Like, cause you get the idea and then you might sit with the idea for a bit.
Right.
And then you start doing little things, like I said, and then I'm journaling, I outline, and then, I'm mapping out the story. And like this go around, I did something very different was, I really like put myself into my protagonist head to kind of get a feel of what I wanted him to do, what I wanted him to say, how I wanted him to move in his story. So I would, you know, move as him, like I would talk as him. I would introduce like myself to strangers as him, like things
Mm.
like that. That was a new thing for me in the writing process that I really like, but that is kind of weird to people, right? But yeah, so to sum it up, because there's so many things I could say, but to sum it up, um, I'm very like isolated in the writing process. During my writing process, I have to be because I'm not as like talkative to people. I'm not as friendly because I'm really trying to focus on executing this idea and really like, okay, how can I take this idea and give you an entire story that's going to keep you engaged from the first chapter to the end of the story or whatnot. So I know I
Mm.
rambled a lot, but yeah, the writing process is I would say this for me is I've learned a lot with this recent book. about how my process is going and how, what works and what doesn't work for me, essentially.
Right. Okay. And does that come like with like trial and error? You know what I mean? Like in a certain sense, like like you got to kind of go through it. You know what about you? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, all right, well, I know that last time this book, I was trying this and I really didn't get the result that I wanted.
Mhm.
And then you just kind of keep going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Everything as a writer, everything is trial and error. Like because what worked, now some people have that formula where they know like, all right, this is
Mm,
how it's gonna go, this is how I wanted to go, and it's worked for them. But it's others like myself that gotta figure out the formula of okay, what works. And there's certain things that you might want to try but you might not be successful at it, right?
right.
So it's always trial and error because you learning new things. But I think as you grow and as you develop, like that's what makes you better at writing. Because I mean, as you work with editors, as you work with beta readers, like they're gonna tell you what works and what doesn't. Like they're gonna tell you like, okay. This you might want to think about this. So I think you always have room to grow in that trial and error because you're always gonna try something for the first time and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But essentially, with anything, it's like sports, right? Like with LeBron or Kobe or MJ, they tried a couple things or tried different moves or tried certain things and it might not have worked that way. Or
Right.
MJ trying to score 100 points without using his teammates, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm,
having to learn that triangle offense. So you got to learn how to win. And then once you find that formula that works for you, then you just keep recreating it, you know what I'm saying?
for sure. For sure. Like fine tuning it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
So like what are your stories about? Like is it one universe like where you got like kind of like a series or is each time you publish something was like a single solo standalone story?
Yeah. So far the only series that I have one series which was a self-published series which is a I don't want to I call it a memoir. It essentially is a memoir, but it was like a collection of blogs that I turned into like a story, a memoir about my life. Just kind of highlighting like some difficult moments like I had talking about entrepreneurship and just, self-transformation, self-love, things like that. That's the only series that I have so far. Most of my books are standalone.
Hmm.
I don't know. I even with the being in the thriller space now, with this being, me making my debut with this thriller novel, um, I have thought about the idea of doing a series. I don't know what that looks like because for me, I feel like the type of stories that I tell, I'm like I leave it where it's at. Like I feel like I like to leave it to the reader's imagination to create those conversations and things like that. But I'm not opposed to doing like series though, because I think there's a couple books that I've read where I'm like, man, I need a part two to this. And so yeah, I'm not opposed to it. But most of my books, the only book that I have now is the memoir series. The rest are standalone. So
Okay. And the memoir is about your upbringing. I'm assuming it's a memoir, so a little bit about yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Well, let's get into that. Where you come from? You know what I'm saying? Like what makes up Saint, what I'm saying, Saint Vaughn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I know. That's why I said I did bad on the intro. I'm so bad with that.
It's all
Uh,
good.
yeah, I grew up. I was born in Fort Belvoir, Virginia, a military kid, but I grew up in Fredericksburg, Virginia. So that's where I claim. Well, let me say spicy because they be real strict about territory out there. I don't want nobody come after me or nothing like that. But yeah, so Fredericksburg, Spotsylvania, Virginia. For me, like I think what makes me or what defines me, Virginia is always gonna be home. That's what raised me. I think, but what I've come to learn is learning more about myself. I spent a lot of time trying to fit in and be in other spaces other than what actually made me. You know what I'm saying? Like I love to laugh, like I love to be around family, like I love like just enjoying life. And I think there was a part of me that was missing for so long, trying to fulfill like certain things that I lacked or insecurities that kept me from truly being who I am. So like when people see me now, they don't, some people don't understand that, and they're like, "Yo, you're different." And I'm like, "No, I'm just being the person that I should have been all along. It just took me a while to get here." You know what I'm saying? So, Virginia always like Virginia is home to me. I'm born and raised there. I mean, I lived a few places, but if you ever ask anybody like or ask me like what makes me um I would say that's the whole purpose of the name Saint Yvon, because Yvonne is my mother's name. So,
Mm.
she's the woman that raised me to be who I am and grow into the amazing writer that I'm hoping that I'll be, you know.
For sure, for sure. Speaking of Virginia, JMU had to come to the Alton Stadium and had to get that BTA. You know what I mean? Last night, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. Yeah, yeah, that was bad. And
Oh man.
I'm always trying to root for the home teams, but yeah, that was bad.
Man, that was that, but no, but JMU showed up. They showed up at the second half. They had some tricks in their bags. I was like, okay, all right. So
Yeah,
I was reading they had like the top rated offense or like top five or something like that. So, what I'm
yeah.
saying, they wasn't jump. You know what I'm saying, but there was levels. I did see
Yeah.
levels in the game. I'm just saying, I did see
Levels, yeah,
levels.
yeah, it's just
You know,
levels to the
but it was lit though. It was lit. Man, they band was fresh though. Like they band, I
Yeah,
was like, okay,
yeah,
this is
yeah,
this is now that was levels. You know what I'm saying? Not saying
yeah,
Organ's band ain't it. Organ's band is great, but
yeah,
I mean, but this like the way the brass was hitting when JMU was out there. They band was
yeah,
there. I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay,
yeah,
this is
man.
a different vibration right here. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Yeah, I'm always gonna root for the, even if I ain't a huge fan, like just if they from like Virginia, I'm always root for them, even if I know what the outcome might be.
No, I feel that. Hey man, hey, you know, Oregon football was trash for a long time, and the
Yeah.
Blazers, come on, man. So I get it. I get it. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
So you said the Thriller. So this is your first time writing the Thriller. Now,
Yes.
without giving in too much detail, because we want people to, whoever listens to this, go buy the book when they come out.
Yeah.
Explain or like kind of set the scene about what's going on in this thriller.
Yes. So the thriller is called Blue Moons. It's a story about a father. It follows the perspective of Jason Bell Sr.
Mhm.
He's a IT professional who is navigating through life after the COVID pandemic. So, with all the new norms that's taking place, people adjusting to life after COVID and things like that. And he is this single father who is navigating through a fresh divorce, learning the new life to, like I said, after the COVID pandemic. But he also built the first EHR system that's fully integrated with AI. So he's on a mission to pitch this software to get a licensing deal, and in the midst of that, he is taking care of his son who has recently been diagnosed with cancer.
Mhm.
So this story is it's a roller coaster. It's a lot of emotions. It's a lot of like things that'll hit home. Like Jason is a very like smart individual. Obviously, like him building a EHR system and his love for technology and wanting to bridge the gap between AI and, the new world, but, also having to deal with the effect of, being a single father, being divorced and now having to care for a child that, has cancer. He's dealing with a lot. So I'm interested to see how, he navigates through this and what what changes in his life that he intends to embrace as things get rough for him.
Okay. So you said you're interested to see how this happens. Does now is that like some like lingo for like somebody promoting the book, or do you honestly don't know how you gonna wrap this up?
Oh, nah, nah, nah. I definitely know. Well, funny enough, man, I rewrote this ending. Like I literally just reached out to my editor recently and two of my author friends because I was like, yo, I like the ending, but I feel like there's a couple things that could be, I could polish up to make it better. But the ending that we have is I know how it's going to end, but I had so many different ways that I wanted to end it, but it was definitely tough. Like it was definitely tough. But I know how the book is going for
Okay.
sure.
All right. Sometimes I mean, people be having like that lingo. Let's say I'm interested to see because like you want people to be like, oh man, me too. I'm just asking questions. You know what I'm
But
saying?
yeah, nah, for real. But the funny thing about a story, like I just sent out in my newsletter today, is like, yo, stories can literally change. Like for us, stories can change up until even like when you submit it to the publisher, there might be something you might be like, yo, I wanna change this. I actually, because after rereading it like quite a few times and going through edits back and forth with my editor, recently I was like, I need to tighten this up. Now before that I was like, all right, I think we good. But then reading it again, I'm like, nah, we could tighten it up. So you always, I mean, up until the last, like until that book is on the shelf, like it could be some changes going on. So
Okay, for sure, for sure. Man, so what are your goals, what I'm saying, with with this career? You know what I'm saying? I know of course we got the big goals, right? We got the, New York Times bestseller, but like what would you like what would you want, if you like when you look back and say, all right, like my career's over, I'm sitting down, I'm retired, I'm just chilling, like what would you want to look back and say, man, I did that.
my I think my biggest goal in this space, especially like as a black writer, is being able to create opportunities for us where we have control of our stories, the type of
Mhm.
stories that we continue to tell.
Okay.
Um, and I'm not just talking about just for writers, but like, for, whether you want to be a director, whether you want to be, a producer, like there's so many different things, like, but my biggest goal is to be able to, um, you know, create opportunities, but also like share words that will outlive me. Like, and what I mean by that is like I look back and I look at the opportunities that I'm able to create for people when I look back at the younger me and I'm looking and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I want to be able to create those opportunities, but I also want to be able to, when I'm gone, like, and they pick up these books or they look at my words, it'll encourage somebody to really like step into their passion or step into their craft. Because
Mm,
I think it was Dr. Miles Monroe that always said, like, the most powerful ideas is those that's in the grave because it's people that did never got a chance to execute these great ideas and they passed away. So I want to be able to write words or write stories that resonate with people that they love so much that encourages them or inspires them to go out and live out their passion and live out their dreams. So
For sure. Okay. Okay. Very powerful. Um, so I got a few more questions left. One of them is like, I just want to be messy. How do you dispute, like, let me how to put this? How do you dispute when you and the editor don't agree on something? Like you really want this in a book, or you want this part to say this, and the editor's like, maybe not. Like, how do you come to the table with I'm standing firm on my business. I want this in the book.
I mean that's wait, can I curse on here?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, well, I just be like, fuck it. Like that's what I want to say, you know what I'm saying? But no, seriously, but with that's the great thing about it depends on the type of editor you have, right? Because I think the editor and the writer, like us, we have to look at it as a partnership. They have to understand like, okay, this is your work. I'm not trying to change your work. I'm here to make it better.
Mm,
And I have to understand, okay, they're here to help me evolve. So we have to have a mutual agreement. But if it's something that is really like I'll give you an example. Like, and I'm gonna tell you this because you're gonna understand because I know you know we from the same culture, so you understand it. Like one of my editors is and she's dope, like white girl. She lives in London, but she's originally from the States.
hmm
So there was a line like at the end of the chapter where Jason says politics as usual. You know what I'm saying? A famous like Jay-Z song, right?
Right, right,
Like
right.
so if you know the song like from Jay, then you'll understand like that chapter and what he was saying. So she was like she tried to change the line or she suggested like to change it to something like I don't know if it was like politics is normal or something like completely different.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, I don't think this gonna fit the way that I want it to. It's not gonna hit.
Mm-mm.
So I kept it. I kept the line. But for the most part, like for me, like if it's something I really think like, okay, like something like that, I'm like, nah, I'm gonna keep it. Cause I want this. I feel like it's gonna resonate this way. But if it's something that I feel like is really gonna help me and I'm just being stubborn, then I will be open to changing stuff.
Okay. For sure, for sure. Uh, to become to you, 500K to make one of your stories a movie. Which one you picking?
All right, you said wait, say that again.
To become with you with a budget,
Uh-huh.
$500,000. Now,
Hmm.
of course, that's not a lot of money if you want to do something, but you got 500K. That's a lot. That's enough.
Yeah.
Which book is you picking to make a movie?
Oh, that shit. Blue Moons. Definitely. Blue Moons was technically supposed to be a TV show before it turned into a book. I had this
Okay.
idea to adapt it into like a TV show or web series. So that like that's a no brainer. Like
Mm.
Blue Moon for sure.
Okay, so Blue Moon probably gonna have like all the like when I read it, I can see it. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? Like,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah. Blue Moons is like it's very vivid. Like I personally I'm gonna say this, and it's not from a cocky standpoint. This is just me, like again, just learning my craft and looking at how much effort I put into this. Blue Moons is the best book that I've written out of the ones that I've written so far.
Okay, top tier. So we ain't even
Yeah,
seen the best yet.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, hands down, like Blue Moons is the best, just in terms of creativity, execution, like just how it's written. I think Blue
Mm,
Moons will outweigh the rest of them. So,
okay, for sure. All right. Well, what do you have to say to anybody that wants to get into writing and can't really figure out how to start or how to fine tune their process? Like, what kind of words of encouragement do you have from anybody from the age 5 to 1,000?
okay. There's actually a couple things I'll say. One, I would say definitely read. It's cliche, I know, but for me, when I wrote my first book, I was not reading books like that. I didn't read. The last book that I had finished was probably back in high school. I didn't
Mm,
start reading books like that until probably not until like my third book, which is crazy to say. So read like because that's when you're gonna get a feel for it's not to overwhelm you, it's to get a feel for storytelling and how you can go about telling different
mm,
stories because everybody has their own style of telling them. But if you have a genre that you're interested in, I would say read. The other thing I would say is um writing down your ideas, like whether you're journaling, whether you're just taking notes in your phone, like definitely write down your ideas. Um, because you never know, you might get an idea in a moment and you might not be able to execute it until like 5 years from now. Blue Moons was an idea that I got in 2019, and now it's about to be a novel in 2026. So definitely write down your ideas. The most important one I'll say, and it's the last one, is do you're gonna have to like not care what anybody else has to say when it comes to you taking that path. Because there's so many people that don't understand the process of writing. They don't understand how hard it is. They don't understand, and that's not just with writing, that's with anything that's not like of the norm with society. Like, so you just gonna have to find that motivation to, block out the noise and focus on what you want to do and just go for it. Like and just write. Like don't think about like don't make your first draft perfect. Don't like because there's no such thing. Like don't edit as you go. Like just write. Like that's the biggest thing. Like you just have to write. Like and again that sounds cliche, but that was advice that other writers gave to me. Um and that's another thing I would say, like surround yourself with other writers too. Like, because
okay.
that really helps being in the writing community, the reading community, learning what other writers are doing, ask questions. Hey, there's a long list of things I could say, but those are the main things I would say for sure.
For sure. All right. Well, Saint Yvon, we appreciate you for coming on and sharing your story about, writing and where you're from and what makes a story and all those things. Man, where can people find you at?
Yeah, yeah, appreciate it, man. Well, first I want to say thank you for even having me on here, man. Appreciate you a lot. Y'all can definitely find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads, at Saint Yvon Writes, and that's for all my platforms. You can also visit my website www.saintyvonwrites.com. I'm also on Substack. You can find me on
Mm.
Substack. My newsletter is on there. Send out monthly newsletters, giving updates on the brand, updates on the writing process, things like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Says Substack. That's one, man. I be trying to double dabble in the writing things. I just like I said earlier, some people like y'all can figure it out. Some people like me, I got like 25 drafts in the in the
Yeah,
Google Docs, you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But we're gonna get
yeah,
to it though. We're gonna get to
yeah,
it.
yeah. Got to, man. Got to
Yeah.
put it out. Yeah, got to put it out.
Yes,
But
sir.
it's a tough. It's when you share things with the world that you write, it's a very vulnerable thing. Like people don't realize that. Like, so I definitely understand when you say that. Like, I definitely understand it because there's things like sometimes I want to say and I don't put it out, but I'm trying to be better at that. So I'm encouraging you too, bro, to put it out.
Okay, all right. Well, shoot. Yeah. I'm definitely gonna work on it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right, brother man. Well, I appreciate you. I'll let you get on with your day. And
All right,
yeah,
for sure.
have a good one.
All right, you too, man. Thank you again. Happy holidays to you and the family, man.
Yes, sir. Same. Peace.
All right, man.